continue on with this what to do on your first track day, and if you've seen the one on the driver of the track, on the car, and now this is the one about being on the track. This is in no particular order, so just going through the points I remembered from when I used to do track days. Do make sure you turn up for the briefing at the beginning, which is usually, say, could be 8 AM or 9 AM, sometime like that, because they will go through some very important points about how they want the track, the organisers want the track day run. They may have, say, only 6 cars out at a time. They may be explaining about what the flags mean, you know, the checkered flag, the red flag, the green flag, whatever, and what it means on the day, where you can and cannot overtake other cars, which is very important, obviously, because if you ignore any of these items that they go through, you can be sent home for taken off the track, and not allowed back on it again. So, I mean, for instance, one thing that confused me, for example, is that when overtaking, at one track day, they said if the person you're overtaking, the person being overtaken should indicate on the side they wish to be overtaken. So if you're moving to the left to leave room on the right to be overtaken, you should indicate with the right hand indicator. Now I find that hellishly confusing, because I always use the indicator to indicate in which direction I'm going, not the direction for the other people behind me. So it's just things like this we need to be aware of, which you'll get at the briefing. And of course, if you've got any questions, ask. As after the briefing or before the briefing, they'll probably also do an inspection of your car. An inspection could include, as I've covered before, what racing gear you're wearing, if it's appropriate for that particular day. Checking to see there's nothing loose in the cabin. They may in fact mark your car, I mean not permanently, if you've got airbags, because there's nothing worse for poor old steward out or track marshal to be hit with a late exploding airbag if there's a car that's come to grief. So they'd like to know if there are airbags or not, so they don't accidentally get in the way of an airbag that may suddenly inflate in a damaged vehicle. Right, and just to go into a bit more detail, there's usually on these track days it's no overtaking on corners. Only overtake under acceleration, not under deceleration is the rule of thumb. When you get out on the track, don't go hell for leather, I suggest. You can do, but one thing is your tyres won't be warmed up. So the first corner you hit or come to, if you're going at speed, you'll probably slide. So if you wait for your tyres to warm up and get more grippy, the rubber to get sort of warmish, will help, and it'll probably keep your confidence up. So just work out your lines on the track, where the best approach is. So the first time you go around, you're just trying to work out where the best lines are on the track, how to approach the corners, and so on and so forth. What else have I got about being on the track? What I used to do, and this is probably taking milliseconds off my time going around the track, is when I'm approaching a corner at speed, this is say on the second or third lap, I just touch the brake before I need them for real, just to make sure they're still still working, because if you get to the corner and they're not working, then you will end up in the tyres or the safety runoff or whatever. So I just touch the brakes. Oh yes, I feel they're gripping. Yeah, great. I'll just keep going for the corner. That's just the way I made sure I left the track in one piece, I think, with the car in one piece. What else have I got here? Yeah, and if your brakes become very spongy, they're gone. That's it. You've done your dash for the day. So slow down and just make your way around and go to the pits and come off. sorry about that, but that's what happens. Some tracks are very, very twisty, have a lot of braking going on, and you don't last too long. So if you are on a sort of a very tight turning track, and you are relying heavily on the brakes, then say you're allowed to go out for say 6 laps, and perhaps just do only 4. Make sure you don't boil off your brake fluid, otherwise you ruin the rest of your day. So that's just a judgment call, really. Now, if you are passed by a faster driver, and it should happen, especially if it's your first track day, don't get all disgruntled. Just try and follow their line. How come they were faster? If they were, say, a reasonably similar car to yours, so you can learn a lot. So, you know, if I get overtaken, I try as far as possible to keep up with that driver for as long as possible, and just try and follow their line through the corner. So this is non-competitive racing, i.e. racing against the clock, not against other people on the track. So you can get the absolute correct line into that corner. So you're not trying to close someone down or keep ahead of somebody or whatever. So you're perfecting more the art of how to take a corner at speed. And if the person in front of you, which is overtaking you, is better at it than you, then there's no better tutor than that person who's just overtaking you. So just try and follow their line. The thing I'd noticed that I had noticed in these track days at the start, obviously there's a lot of nervous tension. You know, with wanting to get out there and give it a go. Yeah, try and ignore it and have the race, have that day as your own. But what I'm saying this is because say you get out on the track, say 9:30 a.m. with the first batch of people go out at 9:30, you'll tend to find by about 2:30, 3 p.m. you'll almost have the track to yourself if you've paced yourself during the day. Because people have done their dash, they've had enough, the car's not working too well, they've done all they want to do, blah 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 blah. So as the day progresses, after lunch everything tends to calm down and I think you can start doing some serious practice on the track. Whereas the morning, you can see that as being your experimental period, if you like, if you've still got the car, that is. Yeah, the only thing I'd say is that when you do come off the track, or when they, I think it's the green flag, or is it the red flag? No, it's the green flag. So, excuse me, usually you go out for your warm-up lap, you come round the pits, they wave the green flag to say, okay, off you go. And then, say 5 laps later, or maybe 6 laps later, they'll wave the checkered flag to say, right, you've done your dash, slow down, head back to the pit. And use that time very carefully. Don't say, oh yeah, I can get another good lap in. Just wind the car down. The car needs that break from being driven at max performance. You know, if you've been bashing along at 6,000-7,000 revs for 10-15 minutes, then that car really needs to cool down. So take advantage of that time just to go around the track quite slowly, well not slowly, but you know, cool right down to say 50, 60, 70k. Don't keep hacking at it. And when you get off the track, do not whatever you do, put on your handbrake, because everything in the braking area is just so hot. You might find stuff starts welding together under the heat. So you find a flat spot. Park your vehicle, probably leave your engine running so the fan is still working and everything's sort of trying to cool down, desperately trying to cool down, and with the engine or the gearbox in neutral, just over a period of say 5 minutes or so, physically push your car forward sort of a quarter rotation of the tyres. So that means what you're trying to do is where the brake calipers meet the brake pads, you're trying to make sure there's an even amount of heat. So if you leave the brake pads again and the brake calipers in one place, again you tend to find those might sort of decide to lock together, and you'll find your brakes completely locked up. So just rock your car backwards and forwards. Oh, it doesn't need too long. But there are tremendous amounts of heat going on in that braking area, and I have seen the brake shoes actually shatter when people haven't done that. So apart from all those points of misery and worry and concern, the thing is you get out there, you enjoy the day, you get to meet your fellow enthusiasts, and I say the best thing is to come away with a smile on your face and the car in one piece. Oh, and did I mention avgas? Oh, maybe I didn't mention avgas. Yeah, if you're lucky where you are, you can buy 100 octane. So if your car, especially with the turbos, is running on, say, 98 octane, you can buy 100 octane, which gives full performance to your car. But you may have to undo the battery, so your car, you sort of, I don't know what the word is, wipe out the computer settings because it's set itself up to run on 98. Leave it off battery for 5-10 minutes or so, then reconnect the battery when you put the avgas into your tank and start her up, and it should relearn how to make best use of the higher octane fuel, and that'll give you a few more seconds on the track too. Alright, well, good luck. Cheers.